it like to see a crowd? Sorry, I get carried away. I need some audience participation. When I do this, you shout, "Not." Got it? Not. Can we do a rehearsal?
I haven't got that much time.
Rick believes the customer is always right. Marvellous. Now I know I'm not local, but I've spent enough time in the last 2 decades waiting for a coffee to qualify. You think I'm kidding? I'm paying rent here. 20 years ago, on our way to Queenscliff with Lorna and the boys, I took a wrong turn. I was gasping for a drink. What's new, you say? So we went into what looked like some Ponzi pseudo-Italian calf. We were greeted by a force of nature named Maria. Maria? Who called me gorgeous. I'm thinking, hello. She then proceeds to greet a prattling dog in the same fashion. We were served by a specky bloke called Martin who seemed to respond to George. He was wearing shorts with Doc Martens and appeared to have strangely curved legs. I asked my wife if rickets was contagious. Jane, who was clearing tables, obviously noticed my concern and announced to everyone, "Don't worry, there's nothing wrong with him, he just walks that way." We paid our bill, cash, to Carol, a delightful English rose, with a great laugh and lovely hands. Yes, Felix, I saw them first. All the while, there was this shady character in the background. He had what we call in Scotland a dour face. He was constantly muttering at no one or anything in particular, and seemed to spend most of the time chasing the local wildlife from the table.
Killing them.
Rick loves sparrows. Love your work.
I like that.
Rick welcomes variations to the big breakfast. Nailed it. Martin and I clicked from the start. I invited him to play for our five-a-side team. This is the transcript of Martin Satchel's first phone call to me. Hello, Mr. McCallum. How are you? Good, Martin. All set for tonight? Absolutely. Itching to go. I'm stretching as we speak. Just one thing. Can Rick come along as well? Who's Rick? Rick from the cafe. Oh, the grumpy mutterer. Yes. No problems, Martin. The more the merrier. Great. The thing is, Rick's a bit different. Different? What do you mean? Oh, intellectually? Well, partly. He's very competitive and temperamental. Not a problem, Martin. We have all sorts. It will be fine. There's one more thing. Yes, Martin? Rick wants to know if they're any good. What? Yes, he said he's not faffing about with prats who can't pass a ball to him. any good? Well, he thinks he is. But I'm much better. Rick loves to chase a bad pass.
No!
So I inherited Rick by default. He turned out to be the best inheritance. He is my best friend. His family is my family. We got lost 20 years ago, but what we found was a wee oasis called Pasquinis. Rick, Carol, Jane, Martin and Maria, and now Mark and Ned, have made friends from their customers, and they love their friends. Their hospitality and generosity extends well beyond the doors of the cafe. Their home is a testament to their love of people, probably wining and dining most of you lot. Pasquinis is not about the money, it's about the cash. It's about the people.
With the money.
Now, it's a little known fact, but when Rick left school, he wanted to be a social worker. Can you just imagine it? Yeah, obviously you're a total prat. Sort yourself out and fuck off. Well, Rick, I reckon you have fulfilled your ambition. Pasquinis is the real community centre of Lonsdale. Auntie Pasquini would have been justifiably proud of you. So without further ado, may I call on Lorna, my wife, and Colin, my son, to present Rick and Co. with their award. Come on up, Lorna.
Here comes Lorna. And a soccer trophy? Yeah. 20 years of social work.
Look at that. I'm going to be doing the Scottish accent for the rest of the weekend now. He's like a Scottish Jamon, only funny.
Exactly.
What else have you
He
got?
met his friend Lorna.
Oh,
That's his wife, Lorna.
Oh, no, she looks lovely.
She's right, grand Lorna is.
Good.
I've got one person left, and she's a lovely lady.
Is she?
Her name's Tara. Now, Tara.
You got to be serious, Tara.
Yes, Tara's. No, she's going to be serious.
I'll soon fix that. Don't worry.
Tara runs a beautiful operation which looked after Martin when he was passing away, called the Sanctuary in Geelong. And they're grief counsellors. And Tara and Scott are very, very close friends of ours. And I've put, and I'm not forcing anyone to do anything, I've put on each bar some place where people could leave a donation for them because well, I think they deserve it and they do a wonderful service. Some of you here will have used their service. So I'd just like to bring on Tara before we have the return of the Welsh choir. And then it'll all be over and we can have a dance. There we go.
I hope you haven't lost the will to live where you've been listening to. If you have, I can help you out on Monday. I'm really grateful that I didn't come to Point Lonsdale until I'd studied psychotherapy for 20 years. Done my social work degree. But my husband and I did drive through Point Lonsdale for the first time, and I saw this cafe and I said, I've got a feeling we're going to live here and I'm going to have my coffee there. Well, I tell you, intuition can lead you into some dark places. Rick and Carol know what I think of Pasquinis. There's no pub here in Point Lonsdale, but we have a social hub. It is for the eccentric and the mildly masochistic, but it is nevertheless a social hub. And a few years ago, we used to go off to work really early. I thought, I live in this village. A village is very dear to me as a concept. why don't I just start having my coffee before I go to work? Well, many a morning I feel like I've hit an episode of Twin Peaks. But the marvellous thing about this village and Pasquinis is there are many of us, we all think we know each other, we haven't got a clue who we are really. We all say hello, hello. My husband and I have a rule that I don't introduce them by names because I have no idea what it is. But I really like them. We don't interfere with each other, but we care for each other. And we really do care for each other. And Rick and Carol became very close friends, which was marvellous. When Scott and I, my husband and I, we both work with people when they're diagnosed with a life-threatening illness. And at work, obviously, things are pretty serious for people and they're in a really vulnerable moment. When we come home, it's a rest from that. So to watch my very dear friends have to get acquainted with what we do in our everyday lives was heartbreaking. And Martin suddenly found out that he had a very short, ferocious journey with cancer. And, you know, Rick is just a buffoon, really, full of hot air and bluster. But it was like watching a bear get felled. And I have never seen him like that. So, you know, at that moment, Rick and Carol just were heartbroken, as were all Martin's friends, and so many of you here have hit moments like this in life. And what I saw was this beautiful crowd of friends come around Martin and Carol and Rick, and there was just utter love there. It was just the most beautiful, beautiful thing to behold, and to watch them gather round him. But it was like watching them get broken, and it was our privilege, not a nice one, but as their friends, to help them out. So it's absolutely typical of them. You wouldn't have a clue, really, of all the many, many times that they've looked after people in this village without saying a word, and all the things that they do for each other and for the people in this place when they hit upon vulnerable times. And you would never see Rick without a word, but he cannot stand seeing any of us suffer. It breaks his heart, and he always is the first to do something. And to watch him hit this moment when he actually couldn't protect his best friend was really, really hard. But Martin would not want a good party spoiled, and I'm sure he's here in spirit and would love this. And actually, what's marvellous is to see Martin's nephew in the kitchen now learning his trade alongside Martin's closest, most beautiful friend, Carol, who's quite gorgeous. And Martin's sister and his family are here tonight with us too, so I hope you get a chance to speak to them. Anyway, it's absolutely typical of Rick that he said, you've got to say something tonight that cuts across the hoo-ha. Just cut across the hoo-ha, say something serious. So, obviously, after this after this harrowing experience that they've had, and that was the year, it happened on Christmas Day, and that was the year that it was Carol's 50th birthday, which was not a nice time, and we keep saying we're going to celebrate that 50th birthday, so we're going to do it tonight. Once I stop talking, all hell's going to break loose. But that whole experience with Martin just absolutely deepened Rick and Carol's absolute attitude to life, which is to grab it by the short and curlies and absolutely cherish life. And that's what I think many of us in this room have learned, that life is extraordinarily precious. And that's why Rick keeps going on holidays, by the way. The terrible thing that I learned about Rick, which is really weird, is that he actually really likes danger. And he really loves a fight, so don't even bother to take him on. But they do cherish life more than anything. We can't always protect each other, can we, from these really tough experiences of illness or loss. So many of us have been through it. But we do have a very powerful choice that we can make, and that is to love and care for each other if we have to go through it. And I know that as a village, we choose to do that for each other. Rick and Carol, I can't thank you enough for being our little social hub. You are our sanctuary, and we love you very, very dearly. So our final word of thanks should be to the corrections department that sent Rick here in the first place.
Okay, we're nearly over. Sorry, it's taken 14 hours. You go.
What?
Peabody's on.
Really?
Yes.
Thank you. I think we should, after that beautiful speech, I'd like to do something a little more frivolous, of course.
Yes.
And in the flavour of our earlier stuff, there's another song that we often, join in together. That's the cocaine around your nose is nice. It's a nice. Sometimes when I wander into the cafe, we do get into song. This is another one of our favourites. So it's brief, and this is it. With apologies to Dean Martin et al. When you're just passing by and you fancy a pie, it's Pasquinis. When it's coffee you want or a tea and croissant, it's Pasquinis. You can't wait to be served, but you could be unnerved at Pasquinis. 'Cause if Rick does his trick, you'll be out of there quick. From Pasquinis. Please don't ask for some chips, it'll give him the shits. That's for certain. If you buy them next door, you had better be sure he's not lurking. Though the rest of the staff are not nearly so daft, just remember, choose Rick's holiday time for a coffee sublime, not December. That's in 1 month he's here, with a smile and a leer, and his vacuum.